Well, there is a concerning new trend with young people. An expert in the United States says an epidemic of narcissism has swept the student population in the last 30 years. Narcissists apparently lack empathy, are vain, materialistic, have an overblown sense of entitlement. I thought they were all in television, actually. But there's a character just like that at the heart of the upcoming movie, Beastly. Have a look.
Should you vote for me just because I'm the rich, popular, good-looking guy? Hell yeah! My dad always said how much people like you is directly proportional to what you look like, not your thing.
What can I say? I'm substance over style.
Ooh, that's a new movie coming up called Beastly. So what's behind this development? How dangerous can it be? Dannielle Miller joins us this morning for her take. Good morning, Dannielle.
Good morning.
So an explosion in narcissism?
Yeah. The US researcher is saying that this is the most narcissistic generation ever. And when you look at that data, it does seem to be quite alarming. However, I think to put it in a context, often the things that are being identified as being traits of a narcissist really perhaps might actually be signs of lack of confidence. For example, we do have a generation that are preoccupied with body image. Is that because they're vain, or is it because they're anxious that they don't look good enough? They are bombarded with messages about beauty. This generation also is materialistic, yet they are the most highly marketed to generation ever.
It started with the material girl herself.
Well, and they see between 400 and 600 ads a day. I think Lily Allen summed it up beautifully when she said, "I'm a weapon of massive consumption, but it's not my fault, it's how I've been programmed to function." So although I do think there are some issues that we all need to be wary of in parenting around encouraging empathy and a sense of connection to community rather than individualism, I don't know that we can label this entire generation as incredibly conceited and Charlie Sheen-like.
Yes, well, Charlie Sheen is a great example, isn't he?
And he isn't part of the young generation either, might I say.
Yeah, I think this is aided with some other substances.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fueled by that. Okay, so what is the borderline between caring about yourself, your appearance, how you want to portray yourself, and crossing the line into narcissism?
Yeah, it's a fine line. I think it's really important that we do all have a strong sense of self and our own skills, but we don't want to become preoccupied and individualistic and selfish in our behaviour. So as parents, it's really important to encourage empathy and a sense of connection to help our young people identify their real skills, but also the skills they need to develop. We don't sort of pop on our heels and end up in primetime TV. We put in the hard yards and we do the work behind that. And I think it's really important to show people that, because so often they're told that they can have instant fame. Reality TV shows, you know, really encourage the idea in them that they can be identified as incredibly special and unique for doing nothing much at all. And that's a pretty unhealthy message.
Well, I mean, you go back to Andy Warhol, 15 minutes of fame. It's now 2 minutes of fame.
Yeah, absolutely. For doing nothing much at all, not even painting a picture or perhaps being good at what you do. We see that when we look at the audition process for shows like Australian Idol, where people with very little talent actually have been told by their parents in particular that they are amazing. So we need to give our children grounding in reality. I wouldn't be alarmed that all young people per se are incredibly selfish and narcissistic. If you look overseas, you know, the students in the Middle East are the ones really leading for change there. So I'm very optimistic about the fact that this generation are intelligent and thoughtful and can be constructive, yet they are very much a product of their consumer culture and the culture that encourages them to believe that fame is absolute paramount.
Because there's another section of the community, the young people in the community, doing wonderful community work.
You're so right. I mean, recent Mission Australia survey showed that up to 25% of young people volunteer. 50% of young people say that they use Facebook and social networking as a means of connecting to causes they believe in. And 95% of young people say, despite what we might think, that they would ditch social networking in order to be there for a real-life friend. So it's not all doom and gloom.
So parents listening to this, knowing that their teenagers are consuming this at a great rate, when do they know it's going to become an issue?
Look, I think it's really important that we do give our children...
When the boys are wearing too much product?
Yeah, well, I
More
think
product
it's
than the girls?
It's important to encourage them to think, what are your real skills? What do you still need to develop? Yes, you are special, but you are not necessarily unique. Put in the hard yards. I think it can be awesome for young people to do those sorts of starter jobs. You know, the McDonald's, the part-time jobs, where they will really be showing what it's like to work hard.
Do you actually think there are too many parents out there telling their kids they are so special, like...
And rewarding them for nothing. You know, we're giving out trophies just for turning up. I mean, this sort of thing is a nonsense, really. It is important to acknowledge achievement, but it has to be real achievement.
So the pendulum has swung the other way, where you literally just get a gold star for not achieving.
Yeah, well, in some cases you do see that happen, and I think that's where it is important to give that reality check and a broader perspective.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the intel this
Pleasure.
morning. Dannielle Miller joining us. There you go. And what about your kids out there? Do they border on narcissism? Maybe it runs in the family. Let us know. Kerri-Anne at 9.com.au.